time. It's our time, my friends. Time for millions of maturepreneurs, 55 plus, who are hashtag not done by a long shot, to revolutionize how we lead, do business, and innovate our world. I'm your host, Jannette Anderson, and welcome to my conversations with fascinating people who would rather inspire than retire. Ask you a question. How do you know which opportunities to say yes to? Because by the time you've accumulated decades of experience, relationship skills, and wisdom, the challenge isn't usually finding opportunities, it's deciding which ones deserve your time. Which business should you build? What partnership should you pursue? Which ideas should you let go of? And perhaps the most important question of all, who should you build with? Because one great partnership can accelerate your success, and one bad partnership can consume years of your life. So today's guest, who I've known for a long time, Tom Matzen, is one of the things I appreciate most about him is that behind all the business strategy, the launches, the growth, and the entrepreneurial success is a deeper belief that business is ultimately an expression of service, that profit matters, impact matters, and the best businesses find ways to do both. Tom's launched 94 businesses, coached thousands of entrepreneurs, and helped his clients generate more than $175 million in revenue, so he knows what he's talking about. But what continues to impress me is his commitment to helping people do good and make money at the same time, which, if you think about it, is exactly the opportunity many of us have in this stage of life. To take our experience, our wisdom, our hard-learned lessons, and build something that serves other people while creating prosperity and meaning for ourselves. So today we're talking about partnerships, opportunities, multiple businesses, and how to discern where your time, energy, and talents can make the greatest difference. So I'm glad you're here. Let's dive in. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Maturepreneur Podcast. I'm your hostess, Jannette Anderson, and I'm so excited to have Tom Matzen here with me today. We've known each other for a long time from various different circles and marketers' cruises and this wild and wonderful world of online marketing, et cetera, et cetera. Welcome, Tom. I'm happy to have you here.
I'm so excited. Thank you so much for the invitation. I always think with a podcast, there's at least two people live at any one moment. So hello to you and hello to both of you.
There you go. So we are going to be talking about, I'll tell you more about Tom in just a second, but we're going to be talking about his unique approach to business. He's been doing it for a long time. And when we talk about doing business, you're going to hear the man is, just certifiably insane is really what I would call it. Okay, so let me tell you.
You're not the only one who feels that way. Thank you.
So, Tom Matzen is a serial entrepreneur, best-selling author, and business strategist who's launched 94 businesses. This is what I mean. And coached over 10,000 entrepreneurs. His clients have generated $175 million plus globally. A leader in high-ticket programs that guarantee results, Tom's mission is simple: empower entrepreneurs to do good and make money. He is co-founder of the Strategic Alliance Live, ICONMAKER, Links Golf Café, 1,000-Person Tribe, and the Residual Income Academy. And that's just for openers. So there you go. That's what I mean about certifiably insane. The man loves business, and oh my God, are you busy with your business? So how are you? Tell us something about you that people wouldn't guess. And then I want to know, how do you do all that?
Oh, that's so great. Well, thanks again for the invite. Something that people wouldn't know about me. Let me think. I recently got recertified in scuba diving with my son, and we spent 6 weeks in Southeast Asia last year, including a dive site in a place called Raja Ampat, one of the prettiest, most amazing places on the planet. If you're a scuba diver and you're listening to this, Google it, Raja Ampat, just like it sounds, and it'll blow your mind. When I went there, I spent a lot of time in the Caribbean like you do, and that's where I started to do my scuba diving. And I read about this place. My son had done the research, and it said there's 1,500 islands in Raja Ampat. And it said any one of the islands has more life than all of the Caribbean added up.
Wow.
And I went, yeah, right. Like, what is that? Some internet story? And so I'm a detail guy. You know, I like to find the source. Where's the proof? And I looked it up, and it was the UN research.
Oh.
It wasn't some like random dude on the internet, some influencer. And so I'm like, okay, darn, let's go. And I went there. And the very first day we got there, and we weren't going to go diving till the next day. And we're on these rustic overwater bungalows, and they were right on the edge of the reef. It was about, maybe a couple hundred meters out, maybe 300 yards out. And I said, can I borrow the snorkel gear and go for a swim? And they, yeah, no problem at all. And so I swam out to the reef, and I went along the reef and back. Total time about 45 minutes, and saw well over 250,000 fish.
Wow.
Like, it was easy. Talk about being in the aquarium. And so what it pointed out to me, we're so North American centric. You and I, right? We're Canadians. We talk to Americans. We do business in North America. We think that's the world. It's not even close, right? It's not even close. There's places on this planet that are so beautiful and so spectacular. And the reason I bring it up is it surprised me that it surprised me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And how easy it is to get to the other side of the world.
Yeah.
Right? We get in our habits of where we're traveling a lot of times, and we stick with what we're used to, where we're comfortable for. And yes, it's a longer flight to get over there, but once you're over there, it's like 10 cents on the dollar.
Yes.
For spectacular, amazing experiences. So it was a really good eye opener. And for those of us that are still at it and still working at it, and we're north of 60, there's an opportunity to play and have fun and work all at the same time. And guess what? They have high-speed internet over there too.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. The only place that I have been on the planet so far that I haven't had access to high-speed internet was the floating reed island in Lake Titicaca. That's the only place. Now, some of it's not so good, but they have it.
Yeah.
So yeah. And I do think travel is an amazing opportunity to just not only open our eyes, but really expand our context of who we are and what's possible and what's out there. And for me, it's a really good opportunity to see how similar we all are, and how connected. And plus, there's some incredible places in terms of nature and stuff. My favorite is still Iguazu Falls in South America. Oh my God, amazing.
I haven't spent much time in South America yet at all. I'm looking forward to doing that. It's probably the least visited part of the world for me, and I hear some amazing stories about some of those waterfalls. So
I can tell you stories about all of South America except for 3 countries I haven't been to yet, but I'll get there. Anyway, nice. Okay, so
and that's a different podcast. That's our South American travel podcast coming tomorrow.
Exactly. And that we do both travel quite a lot, and being digital nomads you have a base, at least. I have not for the past 10 years, but now we were just talking about the fact that I'm kind of settling down or going to be in one spot so that I can do more speaking.
We agreed you weren't being stable, you were just staying in one spot. That's, I think, what we agreed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Not so much with the settling. All right, so tell me about why you have so many businesses and how you juggle all those balls. Like, how do you do that?
Well, for me, I think the purpose of life is to find your calling and live it to its fullest. Yeah. And for some of us, about 1 in 5, that's the life of an entrepreneur. It's not for everyone, for sure. We can talk about the differences if you want at some point, but if you are called to be an entrepreneur and you're listening to this, likely you are. If you're in Jannette's world, for sure, or my world, and we've sent you to this podcast, you're probably an entrepreneur or want to be an entrepreneur and grow and scale what you've got. What I find is you need to find your calling and live it to its fullest. And what does that mean as an entrepreneur? Well, if you're playing the game right, in my opinion, it's about having more impact, influence, and income. Mm-hmm. Right? Doing good and making money at the same time, you heard in my introduction, is what I'm all about. But that's the business model within that. Mm-hmm. Right? Lots of different ways to have impact, influence, and income. But all 3 need to be there. All three need to be there. This isn't about having a hobby. And a lot of people, especially when they're north of 60, they don't need the economics of it. So they create a business that's really just a hobby. And I don't have a problem with that if that's what somebody wants. If that's what somebody wants, all the power to you. But most people, when they start a business, are not looking to impact as few people as possible. Let's be real. They're looking to impact more than a few people, or lots of people, or maybe they want to write a book and impact millions of people, right? And so for me, that's part of the journey, and that's what's happened. Now I've got six businesses. Four of them I have strategic partners for, and two are my own right now. Five are kind of related. In fact, recently I realized just how related they are in terms of the drive and motivation, and one is completely different. And, part of what happens with me is that I truly believe the right partnerships, 1 + 1 is 11. And so I much prefer working with other amazing, smart, strong people than doing it solo. I find it's more fun, it's more enjoyable, we get more done, and if you're in the right frame of mind, and if you're listening to this, you know that, right? 1 + 1 can be 11. It's not just 2 or 3. It's like a force multiplier, and that's literally what's happened with the businesses that I'm doing now.
Well, you tell us a little bit more about partnering, because I know a number of the businesses you have and the partners that you're with. What are the upsides and downsides of partnering?
Well, I'm an expert on picking the wrong partner. I'm a world-class expert. My bio said made and lost millions. Well, the lost almost always came from picking the wrong partners. So let me start with that side first. One of the biggest mistakes people make is they pick a partner because they're bringing cash to the table. That's not a partner. That's an investor.
Yeah.
Or that's a lender. Like a banker relationship. That's not a partner. And I made that mistake several times early on where I thought, okay, you put up the money, I do the work, we'll be 50-50. That's not a good relationship. That's not a good relationship. You pay the person for their money and you return the money with interest for sure. And if there's lots of risk involved, there should be lots of interest involved. But you don't want to sell part of your business off for capital. Partners should bring something beyond the expertise you have to the table. And that's why people should design that before they find a partner. Most people kind of stumble into partnerships, especially in our world, Jannette, right? Yeah. You get together, you go to an event, and were we at Soulful Leadership Retreat as well? I think so, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and you go to a room like that, and it's filled with 150 of the most amazing people you ever bump into. Yeah. Right? And all of a sudden you're like, oh, we should go into business together. Right? And you're reactively going into business together. That's not a good strategy. That's like building a business and not knowing your exit strategy. We're all taught that, but of the 94 businesses that I've launched, only the last 4 had exit strategies before we launched. I'm a bit of a slow runner. In addition to slow with partner choosing, I was slow with the strategy of building a business, right? When you build a house, you don't go to the architect and say, build me a house. Oh, well, how many bedrooms? It doesn't matter. We'll figure it out along the way.
Yeah.
No, the architect's kind of like, no, Tom, you're crazy. How many bedrooms? I need to know now because I'm going to design it so they can build it, right? Nobody would do it the other way around. And yet we do that in business all the time.
Yes, absolutely. So the partners that you do have, how does that partnership work? So do you both work in the business? What's the structure that you found to be the most successful when you're
Great question. I'll break that into 2 categories of partnerships. The first is you're both pursuing it. You're both active in it and you're forming an alliance. The absolute number 1 first step, other than exit, is to figure out who has a veto over what in advance. If you do that, you can have a much more effective company when you grow, right? Because if we were working together and you were in charge of the tech and I was in charge of the marketing, or you were in charge of operations, I was in charge of this, we'd have some dividing lines. We'd know, okay, that's your responsibility, that's my responsibility. Does that mean it always works as soon as you do that? No, but now there's some natural accountability. So when you get together, and all the structures that I work with have a committee that everyone that's involved in the business, including the partners, report to. And you report to the committee, and the committee is in charge of the big picture decisions. They're also in charge of whoever's running the business, because sometimes you'll develop a partnership where you're both 50-50 and you're both going for it, and then things change. And you'll say, you know what, I really want to step up more of this. And I'll say, okay, well, I'll step back. And now maybe it becomes 70-30 in our model. Or maybe it starts that way. Sometimes I'll start businesses that way where you're the primary person. I'm there to support you. So if we go 50-50, you'll be bitter. You'll be bitter.
Yeah.
Because you're the lead person doing the lead work. So I'll go 70-30 in that structure. And it can be a much cleaner way to go. So be clear who's doing what, right? Yep. Super important. In the stage where you're just launching. When you're maturing a business and what I call scaling to 8 figures, right? So maybe you're 6 or 7 figures and now you're planning to build to 10 million a year or more. Very different game because now you become a real business, right? You have an org chart, you have a plan, and there might be 30 parts to your org chart and maybe 25 of them are going to be AI agents. Yeah. And 5 are going to be humanoids, right? It doesn't matter today whether they're an AI agent or they're a human. You still want to plan your organizational chart out, and then you want to plan your roles and responsibilities. And this is where you pivot to where one person, typically one of the founders, becomes the CEO. And the CEO reports to the committee and the owners. But they're responsible now for running the business. And, one of my 6 businesses in October of last year, that's what happened. I stepped onto the board, away from day-to-day operations. Danella Burnett, she did the same thing. And Cheryl Pluff is running it. That's ICONMAKER. She promoted to full-time CEO, running the show. And that was a big shift for that company. But we're also on a path to 8 figures. And we needed that shift. The company needed that shift. And now we're supporting Cheryl. And the things that were areas siloed, vetoed are now all Cheryl, except for things the committee controls. Right. Strategic direction, finance, exits, some of the big picture stuff. Right. Right. And she can come to us for advice and feedback on anything, and often does, but is only required to if it relates to those things. Right. And that's been super empowering to see that blossom and bloom. Yeah. So those are the 2 stages that I've seen where you want to get really clear here, roles and responsibilities. And, I hear some people say, well, we're both going to be responsible for that. It doesn't work. No. It doesn't work. Right? It doesn't work. It's like a podcast if we're both interviewing each other. Yeah, exactly. Right? We'd have fun, but the audience would be confused as heck.
Yes, exactly. So what is one of the things that you would say people need to watch out for if they're taking on partners? What are some of the mistakes that you made that you would go, okay, don't do this?
Well, the biggest by far is partnering with sharks instead of dolphins. Okay. There's a book by Lynch called The Strategy of a Dolphin, and it says there's 3 types of people. There are sharks, dolphins, and carp. Okay. Sharks are the kill or be killed. It's all about them. We're all familiar with that personality type. They're some of the biggest money earners in our lives, the people who make the most amount of money because it's all about them. And part of them is they want to make a lot of money. Does that mean you can't learn from a shark? No, there's some of the best trainers in the world, some of the best business coaches in the world, some of the best strategists in the world. But you don't want to partner with them because their job is to eat you. That's their job. And so if you partner with them and they eat you, whose fault is that? Yeah. It's your fault. You partnered with a shark. That's cost me millions and millions of dollars because I was a slow learner on that front. But trust me, you do not want to partner with a shark. By the way, even if you're a shark, you don't want to partner with a shark. Right. It doesn't make it any better, right? The next category, though, are carp. Carp are the bottom fish. They're the ones that every time you talk to them, they're getting eaten by another shark. And you're like, what's going on? No, really? Oh, come on. You got eaten by another shark? Didn't you get eaten by a shark last week? And like every time you talk to them, they're getting eaten by another shark. Right? Like I saw someone, because I knew you were in Calgary, and I used to live there, as you know. And this morning, a Facebook feed came up with someone from Calgary. And so I thought, oh, watch the video. What's going on in Calgary? And it was this lady complaining about the government seeding the clouds above Calgary and poisoning people because they were in patterns of rows of cumulus clouds. And I thought of my son, who's a pilot now, who could explain exactly what they were caused by. But you and I both know they're caused by the Rockies. The Rockies are right there. And the clouds line up in lines. And she's like, oh, no, the government's poisoning us. And I'm like, wow, there's a mega carp for you. Now the government is poisoning you in cloud seeding. And by the way, don't send me emails. Maybe they are. Maybe they are. I'm not saying they are or they aren't. I'm saying if you live your life blaming the government for seeding you, you're not going to have much of a life. And as an entrepreneur, you're going to suck.
Yeah.
You're going to suck. So carp, that's carp. And then the third is dolphins. Dolphins are the team players. They're the ones, it's all about the pod. It's all about the journey. It's all about having fun along the way.
Yeah.
But in the wild, and I've had the pleasure of swimming with the dolphins in the wild. In fact, I proposed to my first wife with dolphins in the wild, swimming the ring to her. Great story. I don't know if I get, now we're divorced. Do I get 2 points if I tell that story? I don't know. I used to get 2 points every time I told that story. That was for sure. So anyhow, with dolphins in the wild, the only creature shark fears is dolphin. They don't fear man. They don't understand man. To them, we're just like a snack food or an intruder or a seal that's got big blubber on us or something. Like they don't understand us. But if a shark goes after a weak member of the dolphin pod, the rest of the pod will beat up on that shark until it can't swim. And a shark that can't swim dies.
Yeah.
Right. So I love that metaphor. Like we're dolphins, we're playing, we're having fun. You're a dolphin every time I meet you. We're reconnecting as if we've never been apart. And it could have been a year or 2 years. It doesn't matter. Yeah. And we reconnect and have a great conversation. And whatever the event we're at, whatever we're doing, it's like we haven't missed a beat. That's one of the criteria of dolphins because they're not working an agenda. Yeah. Yeah. Sharks are always working an agenda, right? They got their angle, right? And now I've invented a fourth category. Okay. I call it enlightened shark. Okay. Enlightened shark. They're still sharks, but they know to get what they want, your love, your money, your sex, whatever it is, they have to help you get what you want.
Yes.
So they're some of the biggest trainers in the world. Mm-hmm. You know, as you know, I've had the pleasure of being backstage in the green rooms and high-end masterminds with most of the big names in our field.
Yeah.
And, you know, Tony Robbins, Lisa Sasevich, on and on and on. And behind the scenes, they're all sharks.
Yeah.
But enlightened sharks know, Tony's a perfect example. He knows to get what he wants from you, he has to help you get what you want out of life. Mm-hmm. His motivation, though, isn't you getting results. Mm-hmm. His motivation is you getting results so he gets what he wants.
Right.
Right. And by the way, I've had that conversation with him and he agrees. Like, I'm not speaking out of turn. He absolutely agrees because sharks are proud of their sharkiness.
Yes. Yeah.
In fact, they think a dolphin is naive wanting to do win-win.
Yeah.
Oh, you're naive. Oh, you're naive. That's why you're not worth $100 million, Tom. And by the way, they're right. It's probably cost me tens of millions of dollars by not going for the throat in certain situations. But that's okay. Dolphins don't care. We're there for the journey, right? We're there for the win-win. And yes, we can learn from the sharks to learn how to make money along the way, for sure. Because here's the thing. Dolphins with money, we give it back. We put it back to work. We recirculate. There's a big JV event coming up the end of June as we're recording this. And I don't need to go to the event, but there's an award ceremony the night before for people supporting Paul Brown's walk across Africa, and he wants me to come and pick up an award. And I'm like, I don't need an award. They said, yeah, you've been so supportive, you've been so helpful. And I'm like, yeah, I'd rather take that money I would spend coming down to pick up your reward and give you more money to do good work in Africa.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, yeah, that'd be good too. Right. So to me, the biggest mistake I've made by far is partnering with sharks.
Yeah.
Partnering with sharks. And sometimes I was positive they weren't. So my shark radar is much higher than it was now, but it's still not perfect.
Yeah.
It's still not perfect. I get burned less often for less dollar amounts, but I still get burned from time to time because the thing about dolphins is we look for the good in people.
Yeah, I was going to say, we trust.
We trust. Yeah. And what was that old saying that Reagan told Gorbachev when the Cold War ended? Doviai no proviai. Trust, but verify.
Yes.
Dolphins need to do a bit more verify.
Okay, so tell me a little bit more about your business, because I know one of the things that you got 5 businesses that you are now kind of have under an umbrella. Why is that important, and how did that come about?
Well, it came it came about from wanting to optimize my LinkedIn profile. Literally, I have this LinkedIn profile that's massive and all kinds of stuff involved, but it's kind of confusing even to me.
Yeah.
And I was trying to think of, okay, how do I consolidate it? How do I put it all together? And I was going to an event in Miami called DealCon, where they were teaching people how to grow through acquisition, business entrepreneurs buying other businesses. And there was a workshop presented by the founder of advisory board, Tom Shipley, who also created DealCon. And it was about a 45-minute presentation on how to 20x your business. Not 10x, but 20x. And it was fantastic. I was loving it. It was, oh, this is fantastic. And I'm taking pictures of every single slide. I'm taking my notes and I'm going through this process. And he created a framework. And I looked at it, and other than growth through acquisition, it was exactly what I've been doing the last 20 years. And I was there because I want to add that in now, growth through acquisition. And I was thinking, that's it. There's my model. But, thanks to super sharks out there that run a brand called 10X that some of your listeners may know, who shall remain nameless, right, Grant Cardone? Oops, I named him. The how to 20X your business can't be the lead because it would look like I was just playing off of the 10X.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though I launched a mastermind 20 years ago called Get It Together, and the slogan was the fastest way to 10X your business. Right? I was using that term a decade before he used it. Didn't matter. I didn't want to be seen to be that type of marketer. So I worked on creating a model around that, and I now call that the Omega method. And it's literally the fastest path to exponential business growth. And what was really cool for me is, for once, Jannette, all of the stuff I do in those 5 businesses fits under one framework.
Okay.
It all fits under this one framework where I go, yes. So now I can do podcast interviews or stages or signature talks or a book or that's synergistic with all of those things, not competitive with those things. And I was super excited about that. And then that inspired me to then redo my entire coaching website, which I hadn't redone for 5 years. I've been a business coach for 39 years. You'd think I'd have a current coaching website. Well, I do today as we record this, but a month ago, I did not have one, which is pretty good. To be a 7-figure business coach and not have a website, that's pretty good. But the reality is it's better if you have a good site and you build your business, right? We all know that. So that's been a big part of where this all came together. But it literally started from my confusion in trying to clear up that, because as you know, because you work in this world all the time, helping entrepreneurs do this, getting clear on your message it may not be half the battle, but it certainly is half the start.
Yes, yeah, for sure. And it provides you with the clarity of not only being able to answer the question, what do you do, but to think strategically about the business as well. Like you said, you're now clear about
how to say no, right? How to say no.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Because one of the biggest challenges we face when we grow and we know what we're doing is it's really easy to say yes to everything.
Yes.
Right. And so now, for me, for example, now anything that comes along, I can look at this framework, I call it the Omega method. I can look at the framework and I go, does it fit the Omega method?
Right.
Where does it fit? And if it doesn't, no, not interested.
Yeah.
Not interested. So it's really cool to have developed that. And I'm pretty excited. And for everyone listening in, if you're making a pivot and you're reassessing what you're doing, and you're looking at your brilliance, your wisdom, the stuff, the magic that you bring to the table, you want to create a framework around that, right? That may not be the headline you put on your sales sites. It may not be the lead part of your bio, but it ought to be what you stand for. And of course, what makes you different in the marketplace at the same time.
So how do you do all of this? How do you juggle all these balls? Do you have a team of 47 that support you? How do you do this?
It's pretty lean. I've got 2 virtual assistants, one virtual assistant, one executive assistant that work remote, but basically full-time helping. And then I've got, let me think right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 partners in the various ventures. And the rest are what I call, there's outsourcing and out-tasking. And I think a lot of people don't even know the word outtasking. Outsourcing is when you say, okay, you're my agency, you're going to do all that
Yeah.
on a given area. Outtasking is where you hire someone on Fiverr to do something for you.
Yeah.
And it's done and it's finished.
Yeah.
Right? I have a lot of awesome out-taskers.
Okay.
Like a lot. It's like one of the things that I can always do at any event when I get together with leaders is share amazing, perfect vendors to help people get something done that's they're stuck on. Just like, for example, yesterday someone was working on their book, their latest book, and they wanted someone to help get it ready for digital use online. Mm-hmm. And a good book is not a Word doc or a Google Doc stuck online because of a whole bunch of reasons. First off, it looks homemade, but more importantly, it doesn't fit all the formatting that's out there. Mm-hmm. So I found this guy from Egypt. His name is Amit, A-M-I-T, and he'll do all the formats and all the situations and hard codes every page.
Wow.
So it's perfect with line breaks and everything perfectly done in every format with unlimited changes for like $175.
Wow.
Right. So Amit's a guy I send to people all the time. No, he doesn't have a referral program. No, I haven't even asked him for a referral program because when I send someone to him and they use him, they come back going, "Oh, thank you so much." That's my referral program right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah. So I think that's a big part of figuring out how to get a lot done. And then the other part, frankly, is I've been able to distinguish strategy from tactics much better. Strategy is the high growth stuff. Strategy is the leverage. Zone of genius versus zone of excellence, as Dan Sullivan would say. Like, what are the stuff that really moves the ball forward? Do more of that. And then leverage the other stuff using AI, technology, partners, vendors, right? If I look at all the people involved in those 6 companies, and all the vendors, it's hundreds.
Okay.
But employees, it's 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is the a feasible way to grow a multi-million-dollar business these days. It didn't used to be, but it is now. And they don't have to be in the same country, and in fact are often not. My VAs are in the Philippines, and that's where a lot of them come from as well, depending on what you need. So it's really, and of course, then there's AI and all of the various things that affords, and all of the concerns that it raises for people. If someone is looking at starting a business and they don't, they're older and they're going, well, I don't know if I can do this. What would you tell them? Because you're still going strong, like stronger than most people I know.
Yeah.
You are over 55. So what happened? What keeps you going? And what would you advise them?
Well, first off, you have so many advantages when you're over 55 and starting a business that people under 55 don't have. So just know that your ability to discern strategy versus tactics, your ability to know, I think that's shark, is much, much higher than when you're 25, right? Like all of those factors, your ability to be coachable is higher if you are coachable. You may not be. You may not be, because there are people, we all know people 55 that are set in their ways, right? They're like, that's it. They're not going to learn anything. That's not a good entrepreneur. A good entrepreneur is completely ready to learn more all the time. But they also, here's the other thing that comes with wisdom, which is what I call, age and perspective, right? You get wisdom. Not only do you know what to do, you know the order to do it in. And when you have that, you have a force multiplier that makes AI more effective for you. I guarantee you, Jannette and Tom use AI more effectively than most people listening to this podcast. Because we've got a bunch of perspective that allows us to ask better prompts. But it also allows us to set up better AI agents and test them faster and better. Well, guess what? Most of the people over 55 have that wisdom, the knowledge and the perspective combined, that can be a real advantage. That's number one. Just know that that's a superpower. Number two, you're driven by making a difference in the world. And I think that's the real superpower for entrepreneurs. Small business owners are providing a service. They're doing it, doing it, doing it. An entrepreneur works more on their business than in their business,
Mhm.
and they're looking to see, how can I serve my tribe? How can I help them get results? How can I help them get better, faster, quicker results of whatever that world is? And that driving force is such a powerful factor
Mm.
because it allows you to figure out, okay, how do I do that? Like when I just before we jumped in this call, before we got in the green room, I'm working on a new master class for 1,000-person tribe with Catherine O'Leary. You know Catherine, and it's a brand new topic, and it's how to make your first 10K.
Mm.
Well, and the reason is our audience, 1,000-person tribe, is building their list for the very first time for the most part.
Mhm.
Well, about 2/3 of the people are. The other third have lists already. They just love our model because it's easy. But that surprised us actually a lot. But the other 2/3, the business is built around, are those that are brand new, whatever age they are, they're starting out, they don't have an audience, they want to build their audience. And so we created this masterclass around your first 10K. And here's the cool part. In 45 minutes,
Mhm.
Catherine and I and AI created something that would have taken me 3 months to do a year ago.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
year ago. And it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's so powerful. The sales copy is written, the outline of the masterclass is done, the offer is done and outlined, like all this stuff in 45 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Because we know the questions to ask and then re-ask and then probe deeper. And I'm like giddy with excitement. And it's a free masterclass.
Yeah.
It's not going to make us a single dime in and of itself. But I also know a great conversion tool takes your audience, turns them into raving fans, which turns them into clients
Yeah.
eventually, right? The right ones. So for me, I think there's a bunch of advantages. Now, the disadvantages are you got to learn to manage your stress and your health.
Yes.
And you got to learn to do that. And, I was fortunate early on. I got involved in Tony Robbins' world, and I got involved a lot, spent a lot of money, and went to a lot of his stuff. And I learned a strategy probably 1997 now in Hawaii at one of his big events, and that allows me to literally turn off the stress meter when I'm done.
Mm.
And so I sleep incredibly well. So well that there were times in my first marriage when I would get an elbow and woken up at night. How can you sleep with everything that's going on? And Kelly, my wife, was like furious that I was sleeping. And of course, I respond with, because that's how I'm going to solve it tomorrow, honey. Like I need my sleep, so I'm ready to solve it tomorrow. And ultimately, that among other things led to us parting ways. We're still friends. She's remarried. I'm happy. We're both happy. But the reality is, you need to learn to turn that stress button off. And related, you need to optimize your health.
Right.
Right. You need, because we're not spring chickens anymore.
Yes.
Right. I told you just before we started this interview, I came off of a 7-week period where I had a whole bunch of stuff happen where I couldn't work out. And I went back to my trainer a week ago as we're recording this. And now it's been 7 days in a row of working out between the trainer and the gym and the other stuff I'm doing. And it's fantastic. I'm like, oh, I'm back. But during that period of time where I was forced not to, some for good reasons, some for bad reasons, it was crazy. Like, holy cow, how did I survive without this? Mm. So if you're not active every day somehow, then you're just saying to yourself, you're not serious about your business. And you're not serious about serving people, because you need to balance that. The physics behind it. I'm not an expert on lymph nodes and the white cell, red cell, blood cell stuff. I'm not an expert on that. All I know is when it's working, I'm way more productive. I'm way more creative. And like I just said to you, in 45 minutes, we got 3 months worth of work done.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Does that make sense to you? Anything you will question on that or challenge, Jannette? I'm curious.
No, but I think that was a wonderful mic drop moment there that just kind of was a punch to my gut of, if you are not taking care of yourself, you're not serious about your business, and you're not serious about serving people. That's a pretty big call to action there, folks, of really how serious are you? And if we really did our clear that we want to show up and make a difference, we have to be able to do that. And that
Yeah.
means taking care of ourselves.
There's one other piece I would throw in, just as you're reflecting on that, and thank you for doing that. I've learned to gate my time much more effectively. And in my case, I'm an early riser. So I start my day, I'm up at 4:15. I start my day often with meetings at 5 a.m. on the West Coast, but 3 o'clock is my lock off.
Mm,
And that doesn't mean I'm going to sleep after 3 or not right away, but I don't schedule anything after 3 normally.
right.
Period. Other than trainer, right? If I'm doing my trainer working out, I don't schedule any work related things after 3. And that forces me to concentrate my efforts in an 8-hour block or so.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I remember Jack Welch. Most of your listeners remember Jack Welch, GE fame, the head CEO at General Electric for years. He said something one time that really stuck with me. I don't trust someone to run a $100 million division of GE if they can't do the job in 40 hours or less.
Mm.
There's a lot of people who think the more hours you put in, the better.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had a launch call with a brand new client this morning. He's our age. And I said, so why did you hire me? Like, why? Like, you told me some stuff before when we had our exploration call, but why? Like, sum it up. And basically he said, because I'm working too hard, getting too little results.
Mm-hmm.
And then I asked my series of goals for the next year. And one of them was, how many hours a week do you want to be working a year from now? And he said 40 to 50. I said, well, we have to fix that.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked at me and I'm like, yeah, that's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
You deserve to get those results you're talking about working 20 hours a week, not 40 to 50 hours a week. And if you set a goal of 40 to 50 hours a week, you'll probably work 60.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And so the badge of honor now, I mean, fortunately, as we get older, we don't have the energy for that all the time. Right. But there still are plenty of people, mature entrepreneurs, who think more is better for hours. No, more is inferior. Mm-hmm. It means you're not using the best strategy. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. That's not the best strategy. There's lots of strategies out there. Some are more effective than others, as we all know, right? And in that area, that was the other thing that jumped out as you were asking me to reflect on that. And I haven't talked about that in a while, but that's really one of my secrets.
Yes. Well, and like you said, that we come from an era of you got to work hard, and the belief that if you're not working hard, then you're not creating value or you're not valuable, etc. And hard means long and so forth. And so letting go of that belief that we need to work smarter rather than harder is a tough transition for a lot of people. It's one of the sneaky, insidious beliefs that we think sounds noble, but really doesn't, is it?
Well, and here's why. It is noble when you're an employee.
Mm.
It's how we cut our teeth in the corporate world.
Yeah.
Right? The harder, the longer, the more we worked. I remember my last job. I got fired from it, and I was so grateful to my boss eventually. I got fired from it, but they replaced me with 5 people.
Yes. Yeah.
5 full-time people. And the reason I got fired is I went to my boss and said, I'm doing the work of 5 people. We should at least get 2 more. And we had a fight, and he fired me over it. And then he hired 5 people. and of course, I chuckled over that later. But the reality was, as an employee, we put in those hours. We're rewarded by putting those hours in. Yeah. The longer and harder we work, the more valuable we are to the company, the more we get rewarded. Mm-hmm. Right? As an entrepreneur, that's the trap.
Yeah.
That's the trap. The more valuable you are to your company, the less valuable your company is, the less easy it is to scale, and heaven help if you want to sell it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right? Because it ain't sellable. And if you're going to pass it on to your kids as part of your legacy plan and it's not sellable, you're passing on an obligation.
Yes.
You're not passing on a revenue stream. You're passing on an obligation.
Yeah.
That's not what we're hoping to do with our kids.
Exactly.
Well, I want to pass on all my debts to my son and my assets to my daughter. No, that's not what we're talking about.
All right, Tom. So I could talk to you for hours and would. What is one piece of advice you have for people who are, so 2 things. One is those who are in the game, been in the game for a while, because you have been, and you've reinvented yourself and you've started new things and over and over and over again. What keeps you going? What's the thing that if they're kind of stuck, stalled, a little stymied, or just tired, what, because you've been at points where you've been tired,
Oh yeah.
what gets you back in the game?
Well, I've been fortunate. I've taught myself to be massively resilient. I'm like a rubber ball on hard concrete. You drop me, I bounce back higher than I was. I learned that though. I learned that. So it's interesting when you ask that question, I don't have an answer because I don't consciously need to think of that when it happens. And the reason is that my why is clear. My why is clear. So it's not a matter of re-asking the question or reassessing or rereading a book or something like that. My why is clear. I want to help entrepreneurs have more profit and more life. And I want to do that in scale. And now a lot of my time is spent helping my partners accomplish that. But it's the same thing. There's just more leverage attached to it. More potential for residual income or for an exit attached to it because I'm finally getting smarter in that area, right? I wouldn't have had 94 businesses had I understood exit and asset accumulation earlier. I didn't. You learn different things. But the game hasn't changed. The game hasn't changed actually since the 90s. So it's been 39 years I've been a coach in one form or another. The game hasn't changed that whole time. How I play the game has changed all the time. Constantly. And that's because I was fortunate early on to develop, I called it something else, but now it's, more profit and more life is how I describe it. And I learned that from Mike. Well, it evolved from working with Michael Gerber, the E-Myth fame. A lot of your listeners will know the E-Myth Revisited or some of Michael's books. He says the purpose of a business is more life for the owner. And I agree, that's super important. But I've also seen if you just have more life and not more profit, that's a hobby. That's a hobby. That's not a business. And there are plenty of solopreneur coaches and consultants in our world that have that. You know tons of them. I know tons of them, right? They don't have a business. They have a hobby that generates 50,000 or 30,000 or 100,000, but it's not a business. It's got no ability to sell to someone else or someone to take it over or hire a team to run it or anything like that. And so for me, I'm blessed. I was able to get that really clear. For those that don't have that, there's a process the Japanese created called Ikigai, Ikigai. Google it. It's about 800 years old from Japan. It's amazing. And it's the intersection of four things: what you love to do, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for. And if you find the middle of that, because my actual answer to your question is, I know my Ikigai. That's my answer to your question. Because I know my Ikigai, there's no bounce back anymore for me. It's just a matter of, okay, what's next?
Right.
What's next? That didn't work out great. What's next? Because my Ikigai is crystal clear. So for those that are listening in that don't have that, get someone like Jannette to help you poke and prod and figure that out. Because that's easily the most valuable thing you can ever spend money on. Because here's the cool part. When you're clear on your Ikigai, which translates to reason for being, right? So we don't like the Japanese word, use reason for being, but whatever. I kind of like the Japanese word, but I love sushi. So whatever. But if you're clear on your reason for being, then you know what type of business to pursue. You know who to hire, who not to hire. You know what type of business model to create. There are plenty of businesses that the model just sucks. The business is fine, but that model sucks. Right? And so that's to me where my juice comes from.
Oh, I love that. And as the why whisperer, I think our why is super important. I would actually say that what you call your why is actually what you do, not why you do it. So why do you care so much about entrepreneurs being successful and making money?
My calling is to help entrepreneurs have more life and more profit. Like that's my calling. So to me, it's fulfilling my calling.
But why do you care about that so much? Why does that?
It's why I'm on the planet this particular journey.
Okay.
Like I don't even know. I don't even know why. It just is. It's one of those, like the water is wet. I'm on the West Coast when you can go sailing and say, hey, the water's not wet, the water's not wet, the water's not wet, and you fall in, it's wet, right? This is my water is wet. I just know it to my core. I'm blessed. Not everyone knows that.
Yeah.
Right? I'm blessed for sure. Why? I don't know. That's part of why is someone called to be a world-class golfer, or why is someone called to be a world-class singer, or whatever? I don't know. But for me, I know that to be true. I don't know why.
And what's the piece of advice that you would give to people who are just getting clear on what they want to do and may not be quite sure about, and should I start over? Should I create something new?
If you've got wisdom and knowledge that can benefit the world, and the world needs that wisdom and knowledge, and they're not always together. Maybe you're a fabulous bridge player. The world doesn't necessarily need more bridge players, but I'm sure there's a professional bridge player league today. I'm sure there is, because there's a professional everything league today, right? You can make $100,000 a year playing pickleball as a senior. Go imagine that, right? So the everything, there's a way to do it. But if you've got that calling and that wisdom and knowledge, I think, and I'm going to quote my mentor, Jay Abraham, you have a moral obligation to reach as many people as possible. If you have that gift, if you have that wisdom, if you have that experience, you have a moral obligation to reach as many people as possible. There are plenty of idiots and jerks and buttheads out there taking people's money.
Yeah.
Right? And all they want is the money. They couldn't care less if they get any results.
Yeah.
They couldn't care less. That's not, if you're driven by something, that's not you.
Right.
You're driven by the impact that you can make and help them in their lives. That's the stuff that, and I happen to believe, just like Jay does, that if you've got that calling, the product or service that can make a difference in people's lives, you have a moral obligation to reach as many people as possible.
I love that. And I'm going to end on that because I think that's a really powerful thing for people to take away, consider, and put into action. Because, my friends, it's not about getting an aha, it's about taking action on that and moving forward strongly with support, because we can't do this all on our own. It is definitely a team sport to be successful in the world. So get support, call in support, check out Tom. Where can they find out more about you?
Best way to reach me is on LinkedIn, spelled Matzen, Matzen, depending on which country you're listening from. There's only 2 or 3 Matzens in all of LinkedIn, and only one Tom with 30,000 some followers. You'll find me quickly.
Awesome. All right. So that's the best way. And you mentioned your website. You want to tell us what that is too?
Well, all my links are on the LinkedIn site, so that's probably the best way for them to focus. Just go there and connect with me, say hi, tell me one of the things that landed most from our interview. I love getting messages from people when they listen to a podcast. I've done hundreds of them, and it never gets weary to find out, oh, I love how you talked about this. I learned a lesson from that, and share your lessons back to me. Yeah. Both Jannette and I have got stages of our own. We invite people on all the time. Reach out to us. People go, I can't do that. Yes, you can.
Yes.
If it resonates with you, yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Yeah. And that's another good little mic drop moment to end on. Yes, you can. Thank you for being here, Tom. Appreciate you. Thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedule to do this, because, you got lots on the go. I appreciate you and the inspiration you provide me and lots of other people, because just by the example of you, your fire in your belly and all the things you do and how you think about things has always been fascinating. So thank you for that.
Bless you.
Have a wonderful day, everybody, and go take action. Do not just think about this. Go do something about it. Take care and have a wonderful rest of the week. Thank you for listening. I'd love it if you left a comment and subscribed. And I encourage you to apply one aha from this interview right away so you can turn your wisdom into wealth and your contribution into positive change. Bye for now.